Chapter 32, Yin-Yang Wooden Graph. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Saint Monkzumi sealed me in this painting, hoping that I could confess and overcome all of my weaknesses. He wanted me to help the next warrior with a time and space sacred mark to study the mystery of time and space so that warrior could become the strongest warrior on earth. That voice said again, "If you don't free me, how can I show you the mystery of time and space? And if I don't show you the mystery of time and space, how can you become the strongest warrior?" You were sealed by Saint Monkzumi in the painting? Zhang Yuochen could not believe that cat's words because they sounded ridiculous. It had to be important for Saint Monkzumi to seal it in the painting. It could not be that simple that it only had done something bad. Saint Monkzumi, who had obtained a time and space sacred mark, wrote the mystery of time and space. He was a famous saint back in medieval ancient times and records about him could be found in history. That voice said with a sigh, "Who else can unleash the power of sealing the space except for Saint Monkzumi? He is the only person who can open up a world in the painting." However, without a doubt, you can do that easily as well after you have become stronger. You said that you could show me how to practice the mystery of time and space, right? In other words, you can use the power of time and space as well, right? Asked Zhang Yuochen. That voice said, "Of course, my cultivation is unparalleled, I can do everything. However, without a time and space sacred mark, I can't use the power of time and space. But, I used to be with Saint Monkzumi, so I have unconsciously developed a deep understanding of time and space. Obviously, I have no problem with teaching you at all." Now you can finally turn to the second page of the mystery of time and space. Zhang Yuochen picked up the mystery of time and space and turned to the second page. He saw some silver words on this page. Inscription of space. On the second page, 8 fundamental inscriptions of space, which represented the 8 grids of space, were recorded. They were, inscription of pointy, inscription of line type, inscription of lengthways, inscription of transverse type, inscription of height, inscription of flat type, inscription of strain type, and inscription of condensing. In short, pointy, line type, lengthways, transverse type, height, flat type, strain type, and condensing. A voice came out from the painting. Only 8 fundamental inscriptions of space are recorded on the second page. If you can practice these 8 inscriptions well, basically you open up a small space by yourself. However, even so, you won't be able to attack enemies with the power of the space. You have to learn advanced level inscriptions of space, such as inscription of seal, inscription of collapse, inscription of crack, inscription of transmission, etc. It is more important for you to practice these 8 basic inscriptions well. Zhang Yuochen asked, "Why does this page record 8 basic inscriptions of space only? What about inscriptions of time?" Haha. Time is flowing continuously. Nobody can create time. Therefore, we don't have inscriptions of time. However, for a warrior with a time and space sacred mark, he can practice his mark of time and utilize the power of time in order to use time's spiritual techniques. If your spiritual power is strong enough, and if you can practice your mark of time well, you can easily cut 10 years off your enemy's life expectancy with one finger. You can even stop time, speed up time, slow down time, etc. in an independent space. Time has an amazing power. Even if your cultivation is high, you can't compete against time. Neither can you defend yourself against time. Well, with your current level of spiritual power, you can't practice the mark of time. You can only do the 8 basic inscriptions of space. Zhang Yuochen asked, "So practicing inscriptions of space and the mark of time require amazingly strong spiritual power, is that correct?" That voice laughed. "Free me from the painting first, and then I will let you know." Zhang Yuochen hesitated a bit. He was uncertain whether or not it would be a good thing to do that. "Don't hesitate. I have great unrivaled cultivation. However, I'm not interested in you at all, young man. Free me and I promise you that I will tell you more secrets about time and space. I will help you utilize the power of the time and space sacred mark." Is this a good thing or bad thing? That's the problem. However, if it's a bad thing, it can't be avoided easily. It will happen anyway. If Saint Monkzumi considered it a threat, he should have killed it. rather than just sealing it inside a painting. Zhang Yuochen thought for a while and asked, "How can I free you from the painting?" "Just a drop of blood will be enough. Once you drop it onto the painting, you'll become the painting's owner. Inject your genuine qi into it, then you will be able to break the seal and free me," said that voice with great excitement. Zhang Yuochen used his nail to break the skin of his right index finger, leaving a bloody line on his fingertip. A crimson drop of blood from his fingertip dribbled onto the painting, with a tach sound. The droplet was absorbed by the painting. Boom! A light layer of blood covered the painting. The painting suddenly flew into Zhang Yuochen's hand. It should be noted that the painting was 1,000 pounds, however, Zhang Yuochen made it fly to his hand with his spiritual power. It was incredible. It's an amazing treasure. Other genuine martial arms can't be compared to it at all. After having become the owner of this painting, Zhang Yuochen could clearly sense that every line on the painting was an inscription. There were inscriptions of space, inscriptions of ice series, inscriptions of power series, inscription of earth series, inscription of fire series, etc. All kinds of inscriptions were on the painting, and they were uncountable. That's why Saint Monksumi was the greatest saint in medieval ancient times. Even his painting is beyond others' cognition. Zhang Yuochen unleashed his spiritual power and the painting was turned into a white light and flew into the sacred mark on his globula. Then it reached his chi pool. The painting was hung in the middle of the chi pool. It was rotating slowly with shallow white light. Boom! Zhang Yuochen unleashed his spiritual power again. Now the painting flew out of the chi pool and was back in his hand. The voice said again, "The painting is called the Yin-Yang wooden graph. Its paper is made of a tree leaf from the sacred prime tree." It took Saint Monksumi 10 years to finish the drawing, and it cost him great spiritual power. "Young man, now you can free me, right?" Of course. Although Zhang Yuochen agreed to free the cat, inside his mind he was still uncertain. He could not fully trust the cat. Zhang Yuochen injected his genuine qi into the scroll. The scroll was shining and shaking slightly. Boom! A black light flew out of the painting and fell to the ground. It became a 1 meter tall, giant black cat. That cat was as large as a hog and fat with soft black fur. Its golden eyes were even bigger than Zhang Yuochen's fists. Zhang Yuochen had seen cats before. However, it was his first time to see such a large, fat cat. Ha ha. Finally, I am out. It's been 100,000 years. 100,000 years. That fat, black, cat spoke like a human being, which was weird. Suddenly, that fat, black cat bared its sharp teeth, with a ferocious gaze in its round eyes. It rushed toward Zhang Yuochen and roared, "Kiddo, I'm the king of slaughter. I can kill you with a claw." Ha ha. It rushed at Zhang Yuochen, reaching out a sharp paw toward his neck. Its body seemed fat and bloated, but it was super fast. It moved like a black shadow. Zhang Yuochen had been vigilant against the cat before the paw was coming toward him. Zhang Yuochen hit the cat with his palm on its giant face. The cat whined, and his tongue was almost outside his mouth. The cat was thrown backward. Bang! It hit on the internal space of the time and space spinal and fell to the ground like a dead pig. Zhang Yuochen looked at his palm and then glanced at the cat on the ground. He frowned slightly and asked, "Are you really the king of slaughter?" That giant, black cat stamped the ground with its paws and gnashed. "Young man, how dare you doubt my ability? If it wasn't for my cultivation being sealed in the painting, it would be a piece of cake to kill you." "Oh no, what are you doing? Help." "I was just kidding. I am such a nice guy. Why would I kill others?" "What are you? Oh no no." Zhang Yuochen carried the cat's tail and dragged it to the center of the space. He stepped on its abdomen with the flash shining sword in his hand. He injected his genuine qi into the flash shining sword and all of a sudden, 3 inscriptions of power series in the sword were activated. The weight of the sword reached 500 pounds. Suddenly, "Fatty, do you really think that I will believe you again?" Zhang Yuochen held the sword with both his hands and stabbed abruptly downward. Suddenly, a scary power was unleashed from the cat's body. The cat turned its body and escaped out of Zhang Yuochen's control and hid in a corner. With its tail upturned, the cat shined shallow black lights and said, "Young man, you must calm down. When you do things, remember not to act on rash impulse. I was just testing your cultivation. How would I try to kill you? Besides that, with my unrivaled cultivation, if I plan to kill you? Do you really think that you can get the chance to fight back? Are you serious? With the flash shining sword in his hand, Zhang Yuochen walked toward the cat one step at a time and swayed the sword. Shit, you really think that I am afraid of you? If we really fight against each other, it doesn't mean that I will be weaker than you. The cat reached out his sharp paw and grabbed the flash shining sword. It roared loudly, meow.